to be kicking off the first Let's Get Physical masterclass for 2020. So I am, as I said, this is going to be loads and loads of fun. And there are going to be a few of these masterclasses happening throughout the year. They're all recorded, of course, and they will all be sent out to everybody. If you are not on the list, I will make sure that there is a link for you to sign up for to get the replay as well, and all of the bits and pieces that are happening this year. So if you can hear me, can you please just type in and tell me that you can hear me? Because I am playing with a new microphone and I want to make sure that I can be heard. So that would be really great if you can hear me. Just put a "Hi, Katie." I can hear you in the comments, which would be awesome. Okay, so I don't seem to be getting any of the comments. That's a little bit frustrating. Never mind. I can hear. Okay, hi Bernie. Awesome. I am seeing the comments now, and that is really good that you can hear me. So we have a lot of new people in the group, which is so much fun. So a big shout out to everyone that's new. And this is a space for us to talk about physical examination clinically in your practice. That this is my jam. I am Katie Barron. I am a naturopath. I've been a college lecturer of the physical examination subject for a Bachelor of Health Science for over 4 years. And I'm super passionate about praccies being able to bring this into their practice. One of the things that I noticed when I was teaching this subject was that it was done sort of in about the third year or roundabout, and then by the time students got to clinic, they had sort of forgotten what the gist of it was, and they weren't feeling confident because it is only one subject. It is an absolute whirlwind, and then it's over, and a lot of people, a lot of you guys just aren't very confident with the physical exam. And it's a real shame because it is such an incredible part of our practice, and I'll kind of get into that a little bit more. So I'm Katie and I'm really glad to have you here. So I've been working on a big project. 2019 was amazing. The Let's Get Physical training went to 7 different cities and rolled out weekend trainings. It looks a little bit different this year. I'm actually taking a group of praccies to Sri Lanka, where we'll be doing all of the physical examination training program, and then we'll be working in a pop-up clinic, volunteering in a local community, and we'll be using all of our new skills on the ground. So that is super exciting. So I've been liaisoning with a charity actually on the ground in Sri Lanka, and this woman that I've been speaking to and working with, she has been so incredibly generous with her time and her energy, and to really help me get this project off the ground with everyone and just make it super incredible. And it got me thinking about the idea of being of service and of being generous with time and energy and knowledge. And it really got me fired up even more to make sure that what I'm bringing you guys this year is incredibly relevant and useful, just super useful, so that I can be of service and then you guys can be of service, because ultimately that is why we get into doing this work, isn't it? So so we'll talk a little bit more about Sri Lanka and what is going on and what the training programs look like later. So what's happening this year? Well, there's Sri Lanka. There is this reinvigorated, as I mentioned, recommitment to you guys and to our profession as a whole, because what I noticed from the rolling out of the training of last year was that this is so needed. And and it wasn't just you guys, but I actually had quite a few pharmacists who were doing the training as well, which was really cool, because what it means is that we're bridging the gap between us and them. I will be at NADEX. If any of you guys are at NADEX this year, I'm going to be presenting on the VIP day, yay, which is going to be, I've got so much up my sleeve for you guys. And also I will be around all weekend, so that's going to be a lot of fun too. So come and have a chat with me and ask me any questions, or just have a chat, which would be great. Hi Lara, how are you, darling? And then as I said, part of this reinvigoration of bringing this work to our profession is that there is going to be lots of little masterclasses, and there's also going to be lots of little mini trainings. For those of you guys that have been in this group last year, you will know that that is my thing. I started the 2-minute tutorials because I was like, how do I get this information to everyone? And I just want you to watch something and do it. Watch something and do it. Watch something and do it. So that is actually the underpinning for the online training course too. But that is what is going to be going on in the group this year. Okay, so jumping straight into the physical exam. I want to really quickly recap why it's so important for us to do. We have such a beautiful opportunity because we have time. As we know, GPs are so under the pump with time, and on average we have about an hour to spend in an initial consultation, but usually some people up to an hour and a half with our clients. And so we have this beautiful opportunity to be able to gather all of this information, and part of it is gathering the information that we get from physical exams. So when we gather this information, be it questioning or the physical examination. Why do we do that? Well, obviously we're doing this to optimize our treatment plans so that we can get the best results possible for our clients. The other thing that I'm finding there is a little bit of a gap in our profession at the moment is the physical examinations are done so that we can identify red flags. Now, this is something that's really underutilized in our profession, and it's coming back to that gift of time that we have. It really is our duty of care to be able to identify red flags. Now, before we all start freaking out about that, we don't need to know everything. We don't need to know how to treat everything. We just need to be able to go, oh, that's not quite right, and I'm going to use this common language that I'm going to talk about all of the time to be able to refer on confidently to get it checked out further. And once again, that's really being of service to our patients. And the other thing is, coming off the back of that comment, is that we actually are bridging the gap and connecting with other modalities, be it conventional medicine, acupuncturists, other body workers, all sorts of things. Because if we're gathering this information and we're saying, oh, this is a bit out of my scope of practice, then we are able to refer, and that really just brings us all in together. And from a business point of view, it means that you're going to be able to refer back and forth with these contacts that you make. The other thing, and even though it's last, it is 100% should be first, is, and I say this with every fibre of my heart, is that doing the physical examination is, yes, it's identifying the red flags and it's optimizing treatment plans and it's doing all of the things, but there is a magic that happens when we physically connect with our patients. And And so we're building this rapport and this beautiful relationship, which, and as we know, when we've got that awesome relationship with our clients, they are going to be more compliant, and then they're going to get better results. And from a business point of view, they're going to come back and they're going to tell everyone about you because they have developed that rapport with you. So that is super, super, super important, and that's why we do the physical examinations. So at the moment, what I'm seeing is I'm seeing that praccies just aren't doing a lot of these physicals. If they are doing them, you don't have to put your hand up. But if you are a lot of praccies, if they are doing them, they're not really sure why, and they're not really optimizing that time and that potential to gather that information. So they're missing red flags, and they're just really not very confident. Okay, so let's just jump straight in, because I really want to give you 5 ways that you can just make these physical examinations a no-brainer in your clinic. Now, just quickly to recap on what your physical examinations are, they are checking the vitals. So we're talking about pulse and temperature. We're talking about manual blood pressure. I'm an absolute stickler for that. It is the most accurate way of taking blood pressure. There has been research that has shown that that electronic blood pressure monitors can actually overstate BP by about 5 to 10%. Now, that can actually be the difference between being medicated or not for a lot of our patients. So taking the time to take manual blood pressure is super important. So abdominal assessment, which is incredibly important for us, as we know, everything starts in the gut. Respiratory, as we know, we have the whole world going crazy about coronavirus at the moment, and so being able to do a thorough respiratory assessment is super important. We have got neurological, which trips a lot of praccies up. Once again, we don't need to know everything. We just need to be able to see when something isn't quite right. Nervous system, and there are a number of other things such as sort of lymphatic and checking for swelling and things like that. So when you are starting out as well, first of all, I ask you to have a system. Yeah. Now, I have a system that I teach you guys. You can get in touch with me about the Sri Lankan trip or the online training or, all of the things that are going on this year. But I encourage you to have a system, yeah? So when I teach, part of what I teach everyone to do all of the time is a lot of the vitals. So every patient that you see, at least in their initial consultation, should be having their manual blood pressure taken. They should be having temperature, pulse. They should be, oh God, my brain's not working. You should be looking at nails and tongue, skin and eyes. And then after that, there should be, you should be adapting all of the training to what your person actually needs. So whether they need to have a neurological assessment, whether they need to then have an abdominal assessment, most people do. What you'll do is you will do the basics, you will gather all of that information, and then you will tailor it from there. And when you learn that system, and when you have your own system and you just do it, it really does not take very long at all to get through it. So obviously as well, there's lots of people that work with thyroid, so obviously inspection and palpation of for thyroid enlargement and nodules and things like that are super important as well. So that is to have a system. As I said, I've got mine, and you can go back and look at heaps of the videos that I've done on individual little 2-minute tutorials about different things, but I really encourage you to have your system. The next one is to get your equipment out, get it clean, get it organized, make sure it's working, and have it laid out. I've been telling all of my attendees that it's super important to do this, because if you wait and you're already feeling a little bit nervous and you're fluffing around and you're trying to get all of your equipment out in front of your patient, you'll end up not doing it. So have it out, have it clean, have it working, have it ready to go. Hi Karen, how are you, darling? Okay, so number 3 is this is a little bit of marketing and preparing your patient, but make sure your patient knows that you offer this and that this is going to be part of their consultation. The minute that you tell people that you are going to be, that you are taking a very thorough assessment of them in their initial consultation, and then you're following up in their follow-ups, they will just be blown away by the fact that you are taking the time and you are taking the care to do that. So make sure that you are showing it in your socials and in all of your marketing and your advertising. Make sure that they are aware in their client intake that you have a system of physical examinations that you go through, and it's to be of best service for them. Hi Fleur, how are you? I'm really glad that you made it. I know it's a little bit later in good old New Zealand. So yeah, so we're up to number 3, making sure that they all know. Now, a lot of attendees were so fired up after the training that they've actually put together separate physical examination consults. Other people have sort of tacked it on the end. Other people have upped their prices and just allocated a little bit more time to it. And some people have just gone, oh, that's cool, I'm just going to rejig things so I'm spending 10 minutes doing it. But I promise you, you let your patients know that you are trained and you are ready and you are thorough. And the reason why you're doing this is so that you can give them the best care possible, so that you can optimize their treatment plan so they get great results, and so that you can make sure that you're identifying any red flags, and they will love you forever. I promise. Hi, Zena. Okay, so number 4, practice makes perfect. Now, this is obviously you've got your system. You have decided that everyone that walks through your door for an initial consultation is going to have their blood pressure, temperature, pulse. They're going to have eyes and skin and nail analysis done. It doesn't have to take long. Then you'll go, oh God, oh no, what do we do? So get practicing. Practice makes perfect. I say it to all of the attendees last year. One of the things that I really encourage you to do is to run through your system, run through your process on your husbands, boyfriends, girlfriends, children, neighbors. Grab someone in the street. No, don't do that. But just make sure that you have a few practice runs. And you know what as well is when you do take it to your practice, when you do start with that first person, with that new system that you're going to have, please don't fret about getting it perfect. If you have prepped your patient and you have told them that you are doing this because you care, because you want to make sure that they are getting the best service that they can have from you so that you can optimize their treatment plans, they will be so happy they won't mind if you have to take blood pressure again. And if you're worried, just tell them, oh, I'm just going to check that one more time. And they'll think you're being thorough. Okay, so just getting started, that's what I wanted to hit home there. I just want you guys to get started with this. If you're nervous about doing a whole practice run of things, I encourage you to start with just taking pulse. That is taking the radial pulse. So I want everybody then to come down from the wrist, and then your radial pulse is in right in there. And that, if you're using the tops of your fingers, you'll be able to feel your pulse. If everyone does that now, once again, we are learning so much information just by doing that about cardiovascular, about adrenal health, about all sorts of things, and we're making that connection as well. So I encourage you just to get started. Please just get started. Um, I want I I it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be done. Now, and that is working within our scope of practice. What I did tell everybody last year, and this is why I'm so fired up. I've had a couple of experiences myself where I have worked within my scope of practice, but I have really pushed for referrals when I've felt like something it wasn't quite right, and I've ended up it's been a bit of a struggle, but I've ended up getting results and getting answers for my patients. I spoke about this last year, but I had one particular lady come to mind, and a very very special woman. She initially came to me because she was very very overweight, morbidly obese, and wanted to work to lose weight and things like that. One of the things that she disclosed to me was that she had been suffering from reoccurring thrush. She had been to the doctor. The doctor had diagnosed her with thrush, had told her to take the Canesten and orally and topically as well, and it just did not get better. And So I sent her back for an examination, because obviously that is outside of our scope of practice. And they told her it was thrush, and they didn't actually do a physical examination on her. They just said, it's thrush, keep going, keep going. We kept working together. Now I kept pushing, and I wasn't inspecting the area myself. This is once again scope of practice, but I knew something wasn't right. I was really confident with my referral letters. I was really confident with my common language, as I've mentioned earlier, with speaking to GPs and things like that. So I just kept pushing, and finally there was an examination done and some further testing and things like that. And my lady ended up with a very rare form of labia cancer, which is horrible. And it was heartbreaking for her to have that diagnosis, but she thought she was going mad. She thought she was going crazy. She had about 9 months of treating thrush that wasn't thrush, and she just and getting fobbed off, and she just wanted answers. Now, the prognosis was not great, and but she actually thanked me for helping her, because even though, as I said, the prognosis was not great, it was she got an answer. So I really can't hit home enough the importance of being able to feel confident within your scope of practice, do the physicals, use your common language, use your referrals, and if something isn't right, just keep pushing. Just keep pushing, just keep pushing for answers. Yeah, and this is why I'm so passionate about this work. Okay, so Karen, couldn't agree more to get started. The students I teach are encouraged to do physicals, and just yesterday one of my students picked up on an irregular pulse and high blood pressure, so got to refer. If she hadn't done the physical, this conclusion would not have been reached. So yes, just start. Thank you for this reminder, Katie. 100%. And I'm so glad, Karen, that you are facilitating that, because that student will remember you and will remember this experience forever and will make it part of their practice. Yeah, so it is really important to be able to do that, and especially with blood pressure as well. It's super important to be able to go, okay, so I have identified high blood pressure. I'm feeling confident to be able to work with this. I feel confident that the herbs and the nutrients and the lifestyle factors that I'm prescribing are going to be enough. But also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write that letter to your GP just to make sure that we're on the same page, so that when you go back to your GP, they see that this has been assessed. They see that we are working on it and the rationale is great. And then there's also the other side of that, so that you've seen this really high blood pressure. It might even just be, moderately high. It might be stage 2 or at the upper end of the stage 1 high BP, but you're still not confident. That's okay. Refer. Absolutely refer, and make sure that in that referral letter you have stated that you've done the manual palpatory blood pressure method, that it has come up with the blood pressure reading that you have found, and that you would like to work together for the best service of your patient. So yeah, really, really good point. So getting started, super, super important. So you will see a lot of me. I'm going to be doing lots of things in this group. I would love for you guys to share your wins about what you're doing, and also any questions that you have. I am going to be running the trainings at the end of July, early August in Sri Lanka. As I mentioned at the beginning, it's about 1/3 full at the moment, and it is going to be a fantastic way for praccies to be able to get all of this training. It's 3 half days in Sri Lanka. Everything's included, and then we're going to spend a full day in a pop-up clinic in a local community. As I said in the beginning of the masterclass, I'm working really closely with a couple of charities that are helping me access the community that needs us, and it's just going to be life-changing for everyone involved. It's a beautiful way to get your system up and running, to learn all of the other add-ons that are super important, and to be able to give back in such an incredible way. We've got Designs for Health along. They are going to be supplying us with a ton of supplements, and we're going to be learning. I'm going to be showing you how to use them acutely in these situations for these people. We've got the grants from New Zealand on board, who are giving us tons of bamboo toothbrushes and toothpaste. So we're going to be putting together dental hygiene kits. And I've got a videographer coming along, so everyone on board gets a little portfolio of videos and photos to be able to use back home, and that is on top of all of the trainings, so that you can bring it home and use it in your own practice. This is so phenomenal. I can't even explain to you what this project is meaning and what it's going to do for you, your practice, our profession, and also for these people in Sri Lanka. The incredible place that we will be staying and is actually filmed and features in this incredible cookbook that was brought out by one of the charities, and everyone involved is getting to take one of the cookbooks home as a coffee table book, because I think it's one of those anchors that you'll see it and you'll go, oh, that's what I need to do, and that's what I did do. So it's going to be magic. It's going to be really, really magic for everyone involved. So does anyone have any questions for me at the moment? Here we go. We've got a few questions. Okay, Bernie, Katie, when you refer to common language, are you meaning between us and the GP or us and the client? Okay, so yeah, really great question. And for anybody that hasn't done the training yet with me, yes, the common language. So the common language that I teach is between us and the GP. Because I find that's where we have a little bit of a shortfall. Um, yeah, so basically what I'm meaning there is that, say for example, when we are checking, when we've assessed a patient and we've thought, oh, okay, there's something going on with the cranial nerves, the common language to use would be in the referral letter to the GP, oh, I have identified an issue with cranial nerve 3. I would like this to be further investigated. And when we start using this common language, it's not being manipulative. It's actually the GP will, if the GP reads a letter and sees that you have actually used this common language and you know what you're talking about, they are far more likely to get the further investigations done that you want them to get done. It's just the way it is. So that's what I mean by common language. And also when, for example, when we are training in the training and we learn a full abdominal assessment, and then you go to write your referral letter because you've seen something in the upper right quadrant and you've been able to assess for hepatic enlargement, adding that to your referral letter once again will put you in good stead with the GP to get that further investigation process started. Hopefully that answers your question, Bernie. In terms of the language, the common language that we use, us and the patient, I prefer to use layman terms. Like I will literally go, depending on the person in front of me, I will go, okay, I'm going to get you up on the table now. I'm going to have a feel of your tummy, or I'm going to have a feel of your abdomen. I don't talk too much about quadrants or hepatic flexures or yeah, things like that. Okay. So, Lara, so do you discuss in a letter what you're doing with the client? Yes, but not in very specific terms. If someone has come to me, see, the thing you need to remember about referral letters for the GP is that they're not going to read anything that's more than a couple of paragraphs. And even when I do paragraphs, I do bullet points. So when I talk about what I'm doing with the client and what I teach people in the trainings is yes, to inform them that you are using herbal medicine, nutritional medicine, and lifestyle changes, dietary changes, and things like that. I find it super, super important as well to make sure that you are, if someone is on medication, that there is a sentence in there that they are already on the doctor's medication. That you've got a sentence in there that's going to reassure the GP that you are not prescribing anything that is going to interact with their current prescription. So yeah, Lara, keep it short, sweet, and snappy. Okay, Davina, I had someone come to me for a general health appraisal and picked up high blood pressure and erratic pulse. Sent letter to GP. Fantastic that you picked that up, by the way. What a service you've done for your client. Well done. Sent letter to the GP who called him in but wasn't going to do anything until my client urged him to take his blood pressure again. On doing that, sent him for tests, and in the meantime, the client has had a minor stroke. Okay, hang on. So sent the letter to the GP who called him in but wasn't going to do anything until my client urged him to take his blood pressure again. So did the GP do the blood pressure again? On doing that, sent him for tests, and in the meantime, the client has had a minor stroke. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that. And you know, this is the thing as well. I'm really sorry to hear that. I'm so glad, Davina, that you did your duty of care. That could have been, yeah, that you picked up on what needed to be picked up on then. So yeah, you did the right thing. That's very unfortunate. Lara, thanks. That's great, darling. Okay, so yeah, I think I need to. That's not great. I'm really glad that you were able to do what you did, and picking up on those physicals, and then, as I said, sending that referral letter has put you, yeah, made all of the right things. Davina, yes, he did blood pressure on clients urging. Didn't take anything I said in the letter, uh, but wasn't taking it seriously. Oh, that's very unfortunate. And yeah, that's very unfortunate that that happened, and that that is so if every well, see, this is the thing, is that we can only really control what we're doing. I mean, in a situation like that, is depending on how high it was. If you're coming across blood pressure that is just skyrocketing, and they look like they're about to pop, you see those people and they're very red, they're very ruddy, they've got all of those things that sort of tell you that they're very, very unwell, and they have a very high blood pressure. Don't hesitate to send them straight off to the emergency room to get that checked as well. But that mid-range, sometimes that can be a bit of a grey area. It's like, am I confident to treat that, or do I send on? Now, as I said to Vina, that you've 100% done your duty of care in that situation, and it sounds like it wasn't taken seriously enough, which is very unfortunate. So that little case, that's a really good example of how we can be best of service. We can play our part, and it's unfortunate that your letter of referral wasn't taken seriously. But yeah, I would seriously be telling a patient of mine to find a new GP, if they found that their GP wasn't taking something like that seriously, because that's just not good enough. Yes. So, do we have any more questions? Hi, Rebecca. How are you? And what else do we have going on here? Do we have any more questions? I'm really open to Q&As as well. I really enjoy that forum. And also, if you have anything in particular that you would like me to speak about, please let me know. Either pop it in the Facebook group, or you can PM me if you're feeling a little bit shy as well. One of the things that I'm very, very passionate about is bringing praccies out of the woodwork with this stuff. I know that everyone is, there are a lot more people that are feeling a lot more shy than what they're letting on. And so please just don't hesitate to reach out to me, because, as I said, this year is all about generosity and being of service in every way for you guys. It's an exciting year. So if you have any questions for me, about the training platforms, be it the online platform or the trip to Sri Lanka. As I said, it is 1/3 full at the moment, and it is just every single day it's growing. The momentum's growing, and the inclusions are growing, and just the beautiful opportunity to be of service. I'm in the process of creating handouts for the locals, and I have a translator that is translating it into the 3 main dialects in Sri Lanka, so that we literally have something to hand over to these people that we're seeing. And it's going to be a special kind of magic. So if that's something that interests you, please get in touch. Otherwise, I will be sending out a replay of this, and I will get back into doing 2-minute tutorials. I'm going to be doing some master classes about equipment. What else am I doing? Fitting things into practice, all sorts of things. But yeah, as I said, if you've got something that you would like to talk me to talk about, then let me know. It is, it's an absolute honour to to be here and to be sharing my knowledge, because everybody has a zone of genius, don't they? This just happens to be mine. Okay. Oh, Lara. Okay. If someone said they have bloating, would you palpate their abdomen? Haven't done one maybe since being in practice for nearly a year. Yes, I would. Now, bloating's an interesting one. So yes, I would. Now, when we palpate anything, we obviously we go in. We first do no harm, right? So we go in and we palpate around the area very, very gently, and we see if there's any areas of discomfort. And if there is, then we don't go further. But maybe, Lara, I encourage you to look into if the bloating, is there pain and distension, is it ascites, is there obesity, all sorts of things that go along with that bloating picture. And yeah, that's funny you should bring it up, because I'm going to be adding some training to assess for ascites into things this year. So yes, short answer is yes, I would. And you're going to guide you're going to be guided by your patient and their discomfort and pain. And remembering as well that when you are palpating, that you are making note of the quadrant that it's in. Okay, Bernie. I have a 10-year-old client with HbA1c of 39. I referred to his GP. The GP told the mum I was wasting their time and money. Ooh, was I correct in referring given his age and result? Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, for sure. For sure. That's not, yeah, that... yeah, definitely. And there's a lot that you can do with that family as well. You know, as we know, when we are dealing with children, is that they are so receptive to our treatment. So, yeah, yes. Tanya, do you cover children's physical assessment in your course? I touch on it, and to be honest, most of the physical assessments that we do on adults, we do on children with slight modifications. So, you know, when I'm showing you how to use the otoscope and assessing for ear infections and things like that, it's literally, I'm just showing you how to use the otoscope in a different way to use it safely for children. Yeah, so yes. If there's anything that requires modification, I basically just teach you the modifications as we go along. Rebecca, so exciting. Oh, it's so exciting. I absolutely love this work. Davina, thank you so much, Katie. I loved your course when you came to Perth and directly attribute my increase in physical examination to your course. Oh, Davina, that's so beautiful. That's really lovely to hear. Thank you. And it was amazing to come to Perth, albeit very short. I was there for the weekend, but that was my first time in WA, and it was just magic. Really nice to meet you too. Karen, thank you, Katie. So appreciate your time and knowledge. Have to run. All right, I'll see you later, lovely. Yes, okay, cool, thanks. It made me feel really stink. Yeah, and you know what? Okay, so this is, we've run over time, but let's just quickly touch on this as well. Is that, yes, it is horrible when you get this feedback telling people that, you know, people have told you that you're wasting their time, money, that's quackery, all of the things. But we're working from a place of science. This is not witchy poo stuff. even though I do like a little bit of witchy poo stuff. This is solid science, and this is this thing about this common language. When you have solid rationale for the tests that you're doing, the tests that you're ordering, and the physical examinations that you're doing, and then you're using that common language to add it to your referral letters, honestly, you'll find that sort of thing will drop away. They may not agree with you, but they won't publicly try to shame you like that so much. It'll be reduced quite a lot anyway. There's obviously always going to be a few people that will be the haters, but hey, haters going to hate. So the way to counteract that and that feeling of like, oh, is to go, I was working from a place of science. I was working from a place of being of service, and everything that I did, there is proper training and rationale for. So Bernie, I hear you, but you had solid rationale for that test. All right, I think maybe we have got it all covered for now. As I said, please spend some time in this group and enjoy it and ask me any questions. If you need more information about the Sri Lankan trip, I will pop a link for you to have a look at it and see if it's a fit for you. It is going to be magic. But there's also the opportunity to book in a clarity call with me if you would like to just pick my brains about whether the trip is for you or not. You'll see that in the link. And or just PM me and ask me any questions. As I said, I've taught all of this for quite a few years now. And I do know it back to front, and I can really help you with your confidence, so that when things like Bernie, you had that situation and you had that response, you can confidently go, I was working within my scope of practice, and I was being best of service to my patients. Yes, so I have taken a lot of your time up. I think there's one more question. Hi Katie, is the early bird still on? If so, how much longer? I have extended it. I am a bit of a sucker for early birds. Yes, short answer, yes. I'm going to extend it for about another week because I just want it to be really accessible to everybody. It's going to be a life-changing experience for everybody, for you guys, for your business, for your practice, for your patients back here, because of what it means for them for you to do this training, and also for the people in Sri Lanka, and the ripple effect of what that means for everyone is. So yes. I'm going to extend the early bird for about another week. And there is also a 6-month payment plan to make it super accessible for everyone. So I hope that answers your question, Jane. So please get in touch. I love this. I love you guys. I love our profession. We are so lucky because we have the best of science and love and all of the things. So let's dive in. I will see you soon.